What's most important for fat loss? Doing cardio before your workout or after your workout? Let's dive in. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Coach Chris McMahon. I'm so glad that you're here. Look, make sure that you have notifications turned on, you're subscribed to the channel, you comment below with any questions that you have, and you have notifications turned on so you can know when the next video is going to come out. Today, we are going to talk all about what's best for fat loss, doing your cardio before you lift weights or after you lift weights. Now, this is something that comes up pretty often when I'm working with online fat loss coaching clients, and the most important thing that we have to get out of the way immediately is the only way you can successfully lose fat is if you are in a consistent calorie deficit. Lifting weights is important during a fat loss phase because it helps you preserve lean muscle mass, build muscle along the way, and that's always a good thing. And cardio is great for overall heart health and longevity. You are in a fat loss phase, being in that calorie deficit. That is what is required. And yes, you can do that by training and doing more cardio, but you really can't out-train your diet. It's one of the hardest things to do. If you have no idea what I'm talking about and you don't know how many calories you should be consuming if you want to lose fat sustainably, you're just going to click below and get my free calorie calculator, guaranteed to tell you how many grams of protein, how many grams of fat, how many grams of carbohydrates you need to be eating in order to lose weight while still enjoying the foods you love. It all boils down to what your goal is. Are you training for a race? Do you want to improve your mile time? Are you getting ready for some sort of event that requires you to have improved cardio? If that's where you are, then you're probably going to do your cardio first. That's what you're prioritizing. Now, when it comes to fat loss and overall cardio performance, one of the best things you can do for yourself is just get your body moving. But if we want to be more specific than that, we can look at something which is called Zone 2 training. Now, Zone 2 training is where you train and you're at about 60 to 70% of your max heart rate. So to figure out your max heart rate, you could just do 220 minus your age. That'll give you a rough idea of what that looks like for you. To be honest, an easier way to know is if you're in Zone 2 would be if you are just able to hold a conversation. Get about 14 words out at a time without having to suck in air. Now, if you are someone who is struggling with your weight, you might just find Zone 2 is just going for a walk. Of course, that improves pretty quickly, and you'll find that walking on an incline, wearing a weight vest, jogging, could all be different ways to get into Zone 2. Not only that, but you can look at things like using a stationary bike, an elliptical, swimming, whatever it might be. That is going to help shift you towards that Zone 2. This is important for overall recovery, heart strength, and heart health. The important thing to remember is if we have a lot of weight to lose and we are running, that is a lot of stress we are putting on our joints. So that's another thing you want to consider. So if you have that in the back of your mind and you're aware of that, but your primary goal is that you want to strength train and get stronger, what I would suggest is you do something really easy like 5 to 10 minutes warming up using like an elliptical or a treadmill, and then you can just get right into your training session and follow it with your warm-up now that you have your blood flow. At the end of your training session, if you have time, spend about 20 minutes doing some steady state cardio. It doesn't have to be anything that's groundbreaking. 20 minutes and up is where you start to see those health benefits. And unless you're someone who is trying to compete, it's okay to do the bare minimum, which is hitting those 20 minutes. You also can look at doing your cardio on your rest days. Most of my online fat loss training clients will train 3 to 4 days per week. If they're training 3 days per week, that gives them like 2 days per week where they can do their steady state cardio or whatever they enjoy doing. If they're training 4 days per week, they still can squeeze in like 1 to 2 sessions of that cardio for their heart benefits. Remember, cardio isn't the only lever that we want to be pulling if we're trying to lose weight. Cardio is important for heart health. It's not necessarily the way you are going to lose the most amount of fat possible. And if you are going about it in that way, you're more likely to run into a barrier where you have to just keep increasing the intensity of your cardio to the point where you are training hours on end in an effort to burn fat when you could just control your calorie deficit and add cardio in with heart health benefits by doing the minimum effective dose. That's something that you have to keep in the back of your mind as you go through this. At the end of the day, it all boils down to what's most important for you. Are you trying to get stronger or are you trying to improve your cardio? Now, there are some individuals out there who claim that they are now hybrid athletes. And I think that's an amazing thing. For a long time, it kind of existed in this split where it's either you trained and lifting heavy was your cardio, or it was where you only do your cardio and you're not concerned about getting stronger. It's really nice to have this hybrid athlete approach where you can strengthen your joints, make sure you're getting stronger, preserve your lean muscle mass, see an improvement in your performance in and outside of the gym, and have all these health benefits by combining both. But you don't need to do more than necessary. Of course, you can have a baseline for yourself, such as doing those 2 steady state cardio sessions per week and then your weightlifting. Doesn't need to be overly complicated. And this is where the easy win comes in, because if you're just doing those 20 minutes at the end of your upper body sessions, you're gonna see benefits. I do not suggest doing your cardio on the days when you're doing lower body work. That is not enjoyable. Of course, if that's what your schedule allows you to do, go for it. But I would say, from my experience, doing upper body work and then finishing off with some cardio work is a safe bet. Remember, at the end of the day, it all boils down to your particular goal. You don't need to make it more complicated for yourself. And whatever you choose to do, just be consistent as fuck with it. Because if you're consistent, you're gonna see results. And remember, no matter what you're doing, if you're not in a fucking calorie deficit, you're not gonna successfully lose weight. So just keep that in the back of your mind. The vehicle for fat loss is your strength training. The driver is your nutrition. Don't let yourself forget that. So if you found this helpful, make sure that you're subscribed to the channel, you have notifications turned on, you drop any questions you have below, because I'm always happy to answer them, and you give a thumbs up if you found this really helpful. Without further ado, I just want to remind you, you're one day away from getting back on track and one day away from realizing how fucking amazing you are.